All right.
Succulent, luscious fresh fruits. Melt in your mouth creamy chocolate and other foods. Seasoned, marinated, quality meats. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be giving a speech here, but I'm actually fantasizing about food out loud, which I often fantasize about food out loud. But not so much food itself, but foods that I can put in a crepe. And I also think about not only what foods can I put in a crepe, but who would eat this crepe, how much money will I be willing to pay for this crepe, and ultimately, what kind of profit can I make off this crepe that I'm about to serve somebody. As you know, my name is Eva, and I used to be a crepe caterer in South Florida at a creperie, and I was the assistant manager there as well. Since then, I've had a little crepe business on the side, and I often think out loud about crepes and fantasize about what I can do with a crepe and what I can maybe do as a side job or business down the road. Today I'd like to share with you a little history of the crepe, how to make a crepe, and basically what is all the hoopla about crepes. What is it that makes me excited about crepes? What is it that makes me buy this professional crepe griddle and kind of do this with my life? First of all, the dictionary term of the crepe is described as a very thin pancake, often served with a filling. Now, in its basic form, crepes are like a pancake, but the resemblance kind of ends there as far as the batter. The end result is a very, very, very thin pancake. But it is made, the reason it's so thin is because the crepe batter has a lot more eggs and a lot more milk, therefore making it more watery. So you have a very thin, watery batter compared to a thick, bubbly pancake batter. At www.historyofcrepes.com, we basically find out that the crepe kind of has a prehistoric origins. It first was found as a unleavened flat bread. And the word crepe itself has a Latin origination. They call it crispus. When you think about it, the word crispus might make you think of crisp. And the traditional crepes have a slightly crisp texture to it. Other crepes can be moist and served with sauces on top. My crepe that I'm going to show you today basically has a little crispy texture to it. The original crepes were originated in the northwest corner of France in a colony or a province called Brittany. And the French, as you know, call the crepe a crepe. Most people might not know that, but it is true. It's actually pronounced crepe. And it has that little circumflex. It's an English term, circumflex. It's an upside-down V on top of the first E in crepe. So I don't say crepe. Kind of reminds me of the word crepe. Honestly, I mean crepe. I don't really like the word crepe because it reminds me of that. So I use the word crepe. Basically, crepes are served throughout the world. In Portugal, the crepe is also called a crepe. In Swedish, we call it the pankaka. In Dutch, it's pannenkoeken. In Italy, it's crespella. In Russia, it's a blini. And in Poland, it's called a naleśnik. Now, I tried to describe to you why I like to make crepes and a little bit of history of the crepe. It has prehistoric origins and France developed it. Now I'm going to show you how to make a crepe. Basically, I have a professional crepe griddle, and that's when I had my little side business. But your stovetop crepe pan can also, you can also use these guidelines in your stovetop crepe pan. The main thing is to have all your tools by your crepe griddle, and also have your ingredients assembled by your crepe griddle. So I have my tools here, and I'm going to use my ladle. Traditional ladle used for punch or whatnot. And my crepe tool, also called a rake or a spreader. And you can see by my moving this batter around, it's going to be a very thin crepe. I also have a spatula, which is used to pick up the crepe, and a little knife to cut up the fruit. Now, if I was in a crepe event, you know, throwing down crepes for 60 to 100 people, I wouldn't be standing here not throwing down another crepe. So while that's cooking, I can use my handy tools nearby, grab some fruits, in this case, a luscious strawberry. And I'm going to slice it up really quick. The camera cannot pick this up, but trust me, I am cutting it up nice and thin. So my crepe is cooked, and it's a little jaggedy, but that's okay. It's going to taste the same. And hear a little sizzle there. Your end product is basically going to look like this. I put a little powdered sugar on top. And what's cool about this is it's like the dictionary term usually folded and served with a filling. This is what I'm going to do with this. So I let it cook just a little bit on the side. It gets a little glisten to it. I fold it, and this isn't the best example, but the point is made that it cooks on both sides. Then I put it to my other griddle, and like I said, I would be throwing another crepe down by now. You always use your chocolates or your graham cracker or your marshmallows. You always put those down first. For one, it's going to melt if it's closer to that heating element. And two, it serves as a barrier for your fruits or other things that go in there. Obviously, you wouldn't put the whipped cream in there because it'll melt very quickly. So you put your wonderful fresh fruits on there. Always kind of put a dash of powdered sugar. That's just what I do. And then the piece de resistance is a little bit of whipped cream. I don't know too many people that don't like whipped cream. So you fold it. I make it into a triangle, kind of like a taco, really. And in my own creation, I'm very proud to say, I'm working in the creperie in South Florida, I created a crepe cup. So there is your crepe. Did it kind of fast there, but you can see, have your tools ready, have your crepe pan or griddle hot, and all your things close by. So, because believe me, they do cook really fast, and you don't want to be chasing down an item or a tool to get on with the crepe. There, my friends, is a crepe. And one of my points I told you that I wanted to talk about was, what is all the fuss about crepes? Well, in 2008 Nation's Restaurant News, they are quoted as saying, crepes are selling like, well, they're selling like hotcakes. There's a new wave of purveyors who are introducing updated versions of the thin French pancakes to Americans. The reason I think they're selling like hotcakes is because you see they're pretty fast to make. It is a pretty much an elaborate setup, but once you're set up and good to go, you're good to go. You can feed, you know, depending on how much batter you make, but you can feed a party. And what's fun about the party is people get to create their own crepe. I've made a menu to kind of guide you, but the wonderful thing about crepes is that you can omit or substitute. They're made to order, they're made fresh, so you can put in it whatever the heck you want. So it's convenient as well as very, 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 very good tasting. In the same Nation's Restaurant News in 1997, this is over 10 years ago, the same article states that crepes in the classic sense are back, considering the rage for wraps. This trend comes as no surprise, and as expected, the range of options are growing. The range of inspiration has broadened considerably. Cedric Tesson, author of History of Crepes, notes that creperies can be found throughout France, Europe, Japan, Seoul, Dubai, USA, Australia, and Canada, throughout the world. I personally have had crepes in Japan, I've had crepes in Germany, and I've had crepes in different malls in Colorado. They really are everywhere. So I hope to get on the bandwagon of this trend of the novelty food item and make a little money off it when I decide to get out of the federal prison that I'm in. I hope you see that I have a passion for crepes. I hope that you maybe learned a little bit about the history and how to make one and really the trends going on today in this world of crepes. Thank you, and have a crepe day.